Hey guys, Freddy here. So, school is about to start, and 2 or 3 weeks after school starts, I'm out. Who's to say if it'll be permanent, but so I figure, in the spirit of reminiscing, I figure I'll take a few days and share some stories about just what has made my time subbing special. To start off, a couple of years ago, so this would have been my 5th year subbing at I was subbing for an 8th grade class, ELA class, and I did what I normally do whenever I don't have like a sermon to work on or anything like that. I took a book with me, and so one of my students who I'm familiar with and have a good rapport with walks up to me and says, "Oh, hey, you like reading? You read that new Hunger Games book?" And this would have been the Haymitch Hunger Games book, and I was like, "Nah." In fact, I went to Barnes and Noble, and they didn't even have any copies because they were all sold out. So she says, "Hey, I tell you what, when's the next time you're subbing?" And I said, "Tomorrow." And she said, "Ooh, well, I just got myself a copy of the new Hunger Games book, and yeah, I could let you borrow mine." I was like, "Okay. Tell you what, bring it by tomorrow and I'll read it." She said, "Are you sure you can do that?" And I said, "Kid, do you know who you're talking to? I learned to read at 18 months old, and I'm one of the fastest readers I know, so yeah, bring it by tomorrow." And she said, "Okay." So the next day, I see her in the hallway, and she just reaches in her bag, pulls out the Hunger Games book, hands it to me, and I go to class, and then right before the bell rings, like, kids are starting to file in the room. She just comes by just to say a proper hello, and she looks and she says, "Wait a second, you're already on page 20? And I was like, "Told you." And so then I had this kid in 3rd period. I was already halfway done by then, and I had the whole book finished by 6th period. Before you accuse me of page skimming, I would say it suffers from most prequels and suffer from us knowing the ending and all that. But at the same time, I think she did, like the author did, such a really interesting job at making us all guess as to what comes next. I mean, starting with the very beginning, and then all the way up until that final thing at the end. So, yeah, if that doesn't prove I read it, well, whatever. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who hasn't read it, but so then she comes back and says, "Oh, you did read it already?" And I was like, "Yeah, so what'd you think about it?" And the funniest part was, she said, "Oh, I haven't got to read it yet." Well, okay then. But that kid ended up moving next year. But when it comes to subbing, that will always be a core memory, because of just the generosity of certain students and just how awesome things can happen whenever you got a good rapport with your students. So I'm never going to forget that. And now, neither will you. So, if you don't make friends with people, you're going to regret it.